SIG Sauer only made 5,000 of these M18 Commemorative Edition handguns, so I would say that serial number 4437 is starting to get a little close to the end of the lot. So I reckon I'm lucky to get it. So I don't usually do unboxings, or at least I haven't in quite a while, unless I think that there is some significance to the actual unboxing itself. And in this case, I think that's true, because this is a very limited edition gun, and the packaging is really kind of part of the whole deal. So for those who don't know, just really quick, the M18 is SIG Sauer's P320 that was contracted to the U.S. military, mostly to the Marine Corps, and it is the shorter slide, full capacity version of the pistol. This commemorative model is, I'll show you once I get the box open, but it is made to look exactly like the original gun that was submitted for approval and for the trials and so forth. What the military actually has now is slightly different, but this is identical to what was initially produced and submitted and tested, to my knowledge. Part of that is this is how it was delivered. This cardboard box, this very plain, unassuming packaging. Well, if you're the U.S. military and you're ordering hundreds of thousands of these things, you really don't care about pretty packaging or nice plastic boxes with lock holes and things like that. You want bare bones, because all this cardboard is going to wind up somewhere in a recycle bin, more than likely. So this is, in full commemorative fashion, this is the packaging, just the way the military would have received it. You can see that it has not yet been opened. So I'm going to do that right now, live on camera. Yes, and I know, I can already read the comments. You could have shown us some really cool pocket knife, but no, use a box cutter. Yep, I did. Because this is the official military grade box cutter. That's why. You see now? You understand? You understand the correlation? All right, here we go. First time. I'm seeing it at the same time you're seeing it. Okay, so here's the way it comes, and again, this is just the way it was delivered to the military. Maybe the accompanying manuals might be a little different, because obviously the commercial market requirements are probably different, but that's kind of a nice different looking piece of swag than we're used to, so I like that. I may save it though, because if for some reason I decide I want to sell this down the road, the more of this that I leave exactly the way it came, the better, right? I haven't decided yet, by the way, if I'm going to shoot it. So here's the lock. We get a lock, and this is probably not something that would have been supplied to the military. I'm thinking that the Marine Corps did not wind up with, 250,000 of these locks. At least I would hope not. And there's the gun. So the gun is wrapped in plastic. The two extra magazines are wrapped in plastic. And we'll start with the gun itself. And that's it. You can see there's not a lot of frills. Again, it has a label with a barcode and the serial number on it. So this is something that I would keep also with the gun. If you're a collector, or maybe you're using something like this to start your collection, what you want to do is, if I bought this only as an investment, for future resale, I would not have even sliced that tape. I would have left it completely unopened, and then it would have been worth a lot more money. But the more you do to it, the more you do with it, the less value it has. But I care much less about those kinds of things. To me, guns are for shooting. But I do see and appreciate the value, and I do see and appreciate the opportunity to preserve that value, and so I save all that stuff. Okay, I'm even going to save the little chamber flag. That'll go in there. Okay, so here's the M18 Commemorative. And there's a couple things that distinguish it from the regular. First is the coloring. The slide is a more tan slide. It's more tan than bronze, and I'll show you that in a minute. Also, all of the controls, even the takedown pin, you can see right there, trigger shoe, slide stop, and safety are all that coyote tan color. The back of the slide, the metal that's in there, coyote tan color. Even the extractor plunger is colored in that coyote tan. The only things that are not are the extractor and the sights, and of course the barrel. And then we have this top plate, which is really part of the rear sight, and that would be removed to mount an optic. So that was the configuration originally designed, and that's what was originally submitted and originally tested. They have, however, now switched over to black controls. So the takedown, the trigger, slide stop, slide release, and manual safety are now all black on the military issue, just like the ones we get in the civilian market, as well as also the magazine disconnect is also that color. One of the big things, though, in distinguishing this is the serial numbers. So that's not the serial number, that's a manufacturer's ID number and a part number, and I believe that would match the actual military issue. So manufacturer ID and part number. On the internal chassis, which is the actual registered firearm, is the serial number, and that is also unique and celebrates the commemorative. And they all start with M18, and then this one ends with 4473, again, of 5,000. So we're getting into the last 600 of them with this one. That's not to imply that there's only 500 of these left out there someplace. I have no idea. They could have shipped these first, and I'm sure all the 2- and 3-digit ones are long gone, scarfed up by the serious collectors. I'm not that serious a collector. I'm an appreciator more than a collector, and part of my appreciation usually has to do with pulling the trigger and making them go bang. Again, haven't totally decided yet on this one. Quick side-by-side. This is the new commemorative. This is the commercial M18. So you can see the difference. Let me just put them side by side here. You see the difference in color. Commercial civilian version here and commemorative. So you can see that there's definitely a difference in the color. It matches the slide, or the slide matches the grip frame almost perfectly on the military, but it's a more bronzy tone for the commercial market. In every other way, they really should be identical. You see the black controls here. This is what the military one now really looks like. I don't know about the coloring of the slide. I do not know about that. And of course there are 2 additional 21 round magazines supplied with the gun. Should be a 17 rounder that's in there. Yep, 17 rounder in there, which is a flat, flush fitting base plate. And these of course are extended. And there you go. It is a 9mm pistol, of course. It is a P320. That is the actual model that it's built on. There's a first look at the commemorative M18 from SIG Sauer. I guess I was kind of lucky to get my hands on one because I knew they were going to go fast, and I didn't really, I didn't go to a whole lot of trouble to try and get one. I basically asked my local dealer that I buy everything through that I can, hey, can you get me one? And he was able to, so I appreciate that. There it is. Commemorative M18. First peek. Okay, here's just a quick look at the M18 without the box underneath it in the way. little bit of contrast so we can take a good look at it. And you can see that it is, of course, a P320. Collectors and people who go for that kind of thing, man, they gotta have realism. So it certainly is a limited edition. There are only 5,000, and when they're gone, they're gone. Just like it was back with the M17 commemorative. So the question will be, with the M17, they eventually got some surplus. And they weren't actually surplus. They were, what's the right word I'm thinking of? Help me out, guys. They were basically turn-ins from the military. They were issued and used in duty, and then they were returned back to SIG Sauer. Whether that will happen with any of the M18s that originally went out, I don't know, because I think the changes that were made to the M17 required that exchange. I don't know if a similar exchange will ever occur with the M18, so we may never see those, at least not in any foreseeable future. So this is very likely to be the only type of military commemorative M18. I purchased this, as I said, I asked my dealer if he could try to get me one. He is the man, and he was able to get me one, and I do appreciate that. Thanks, Jim. I'm not going to tell you guys how much I paid. I did buy it. There was no special deal, no favors were called in. I bought it. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid, because if I paid more than you, I don't want to feel stupid. And if you paid more than me, I don't want to make you feel stupid either. So the value of something like this is something that each of us has to decide for ourselves, because depending on where you find one, the price could be run up really high, or you could get lucky and find a distributor or dealer that's not trying to make a killing. But you have to make your own decision that is that price worth it for me or not. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Again, as of this moment, I'm undecided as to whether or not I'm going to shoot it. I may, because I do tend to shoot guns, even the ones that shouldn't be shot. But haven't decided yet on this one. If I do, you'll see it here first. Okay, this was just a quick look at the new and commemorative and soon to be gone M18 from SIG Sauer. Thanks for watching. As always, thanks to the folks who help the channel out in various ways. Thanks as always to my Patreon patrons, and thanks to you for watching. See you again soon.